Hey guys, today I'm going to walk you through our closing of a fiscal year and how that works in our closing of fiscal periods, right? So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open the fiscal years, and you're going to note that 2009 is closed for our company. So that means that I cannot put transactions into 2009. Now, again, you'll note that only these years are set up. If I try and enter a transaction outside the fiscal year range period, it will not be entered because that's an invalid date. And then if I try and enter something into 2009, which is like a closed period, you'll note that that's invalid date. Now, you'll say, well, I want to close on a more granular level than years. So do I. So what you're going to note here is within a fiscal year, you've got the months. The months have modules, and you can close modules within a fiscal year. Now, if I want to close a module, we do have logic to say the AR needs to be closed and revalued for setting GL status to closed. So this module is running intercompany. This walks you through your workflow of closing, right? So now first you have to close AP and AR before closing the GL. So now I'd go into purchasing and I'd close purchasing. And if there's any transactions in purchasing, it'll show it to me, or it will close it, and I can close my AR, and then I can close my general ledger. Right now it's going to tell me to revalue. And now I got to go in and revalue those transactions before I close. So again, just showing you now here how I can actually close a period, and I can just close modules within a period. So I'm going to demonstrate what the capabilities and what the information on closing a period is inside the general ledger. Now you'll note January of 2011 is closed. So let me go into a general journal entry, and let's try and enter a transaction into 1/1/2011. Right? Okay, well, looky there. It fails. It prevents you from posting. It tells you the post date is invalid, and it highlights this particular transaction set, right? So that prevents you, gives you full period control. And again, I'm showing general ledger, but this works the same way in accounts payable, accounts receivable, all the modules. So now let's go back into general journals, and you're going to say, well, what happens if I try and edit a transaction that's in a prior period? Again, that's all locked up, so I can't do that, right? I can't edit it, but I am able to reverse the transaction, right? So if I want to go ahead and reverse the transaction, I can click reverse. That'll create a reversing entry as of the current date, right? And I can save that, and I can post that entry if I like. Right now that I posted the entry, the other thing that's cool is this is a reversing entry of 53, and I go in and I change it, right? Now, again, I think we've seen this in other videos, but when I change that, you'll note in my audit log, I do have an update where the description was changed from 10353 to 103. So I'm going to go back and change that because I want it to be correct. I can go ahead and save it. Now I can go back into my audit log, and boom, there's the second change that brings it back. Cool. So that's really pretty nice from respect of auditing and closing, right? I can see what happened when. Now the second thing I want to show you here is financial reports, and then we're going to wrap up in the subledger. So the financial report builder is a nice tool that allows you to see like the balance sheet as of a specific date. So let me pull up like a balance sheet, and this is my balance sheet. And again, I can run this as of whenever I want. So at 31/2017, right? So I can run this and hit generate, and it'll generate my report. Or I can look back on prior times I've ran this report and launch it. So this was run as of October 2nd for a full period here. So now what I'm going to do on top of that is I'm going to be able to go here and see, okay, this was run October 2nd. What changes happened between now and that date that might have impacted the general ledger? Well, I had a $15 adjustment to cash, right? So I could drill into that cash adjustment and see what happened from that respect. So that's basically a full audit log of the last time you ran the report and what's changed subsequent. And again, if I ran that report 100 times, I'd see 100 records in here, and I could actually see the changes since the run before. So that's beautiful, because picture yourself running your financial statements as of January, and you come back in March and you rerun them and they're different. Well, what happened? Well, this allows you to get the full drill down onto what happened. Now, if you're controlling your fiscal years, you should never have an issue, but you know, people try and subvert the system, if someone gets in there and changes a date, well, you'll be able to audit trail and track it down to who did it, when, where, why, and how, which is huge. Next thing I'm going to go to with the closing procedure is just show you that, like on the open payables detail, right? You can go back in time and get it. So again, after you close your AP, no one can enter into AP, and you can go back as long as you want and run an aging by post date. So let's say the post date is as of, and then I can say 8/31/2017, right? And then I can generate that report. And this is going to go back and generate an open payables detail for 8/31/17 as of that date. So it'll unapply all the payments, it'll reapply the payments, and show me what's open per vendor. So this shows me Midwest Propane has a balance of $28. So then it will allow me to actually drill, this is amazing, from a report into that bill, and then I can see what's happening on that bill, and I can see if I, have an issue with respect to that bill, or if there's any, payment that's not been made. Any information from that respect can be looked at. So again, that gives me control to go back in time and run an actual payables even after the amount has been closed, and that actually payables is tightly controlled to ensure it reconciles to the general ledger. So from a month-end closing perspective, to ensure your sub-ledgers like payables, receivables, contracts aren't out of balance, we've created accounts which are called categories. And so account categories prevent you from posting to the accounts payable from, let's say, the general ledger or the actual, contract module of when you post a receipt, just so you can't throw the payables out of balance unintentionally, right? So we do have categories which control how accounts get set to ensure that your fiscal closing is accurate. The other piece that we have set up is all your accruals. So as you looked at accounts payable accruals, we also have purchase clearing. We also have accruals for unrealized gain or loss inside of the fiscal year. So when we look at a closing procedure, we have extensive reports for you to be able to get your accruals and do your searching and do your audit history very quickly and very easily.